Hey everybody, this is Edward from Sword and Fortress, and I apologize, running a little bit behind or early depending on the post, and I haven't been feeling the greatest today, so we're going to forego the camera looking at me because I don't look good. So today we're going to be talking about the announcement for our first official Warsurge tournament to be held mid to late June. We've left some of the details open, just with how crazy the world is. We don't want to start putting things down in concrete if we've got to shift them. But that means we'll also be doing quite a few adjustments or announcements as we go along. So I'll kind of just chill here for a little bit, see who joins us, and we'll start going over the tournament rules, some of the great prizes, and other great stuff we've got going on. So the guys at Three Brothers Grimm, the guys that take care of Warsurge, they're the creators and everything. They've done some great stuff with it. They've been awesome to collab with. To talk a little bit about what Warsurge is, if you guys don't know, we've got our little Warsurge app here. We'll turn off the tournament rules. And this is just a great place to, the app is great because it allows you to go through, create your own units. In here, we've got some basketball teams that we'll be doing some videos on. So you've got a Dark Space Wizard, aka Darth Vader, some Space Troopers. We've got Eldar, Necron, Golden Guards, Chaos Knights, and even some 3D printed stuff like this UMW army of mine is straight from the Loot Studios sci-fi subscription. So I converted their D&D rules, and we've been seeing a couple videos about that here. So it's a really easy app to work with. You can just go in. Here, we'll even put together something new. So you create your faction, you go in, create your units, and you set everything up for your army. You'll set up their movement, their defense, their everything. It's great. It's got an internal point system, so you'll never have to run into the situation of playing against somebody and they've got like certain godlike characters from 40k with burning swords and stuff like that, and they only cost like 3 points. Not going to be the case here. Everything they do great about going through it all. They've got tons of perks for both the unit. Well, yeah, let's open up that one. As well as each weapon can have its own perks, and then every roster can have its own perks. So they've really done a great job about allowing you to create just the ideal army, the army you wanted to play. Yeah, so like for my Eldar, we won't be shooting ninja stars anymore. So we can change the power up. We can do whatever we need to, and then it changes the power up there. And then when you play, you'll send this over to your enemy. You'll scan each other's QR code, share each other's QR code. It tracks who's living, who's dead. Has an amazing dice roller app. It hasn't been great for some of the people I've played with. They have not been lucky. I like it when we've got to do huge rules. And then right here, they've also got all of their rules right there available on the app as you're playing it. So you can see exactly what's in your roster. You can see exactly what's in your enemy's roster. You can track casualties. Then you can export it to the journal. Go in, make some edits to what happened, who won, the play style, and then put together a report, see who the rosters were, talk about what you did right, what you did wrong. It's a great way to keep track of how your armies are doing. So yeah. Yes, it does let knights lose to tanks. That is very, very true. Yeah, Judas, one of these times we've got to get together and do a huge, the favored son, the rotten son, and something else versus a whole army, and see how 3 mega units do compared to a whole army. So yeah, so that's kind of a brief overview of the app. You will need to get the app. It's free to play around. I mean, a rematch is good too. I'll take a rematch. The free app is great to play around, kind of play around with things. You can subscribe for 99 cents a month, or you can cough up, well, not cough up, but if you spend $21.99, I think it is, you get the lifetime app. And yeah, so you've got access to the app and everything for the rest of your life. The rules are also free on warsurge.com. So for $20, you can play the game forever. It's awesome, especially those of you who just got burned buying back-to-back $50 codexes. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, Oni and everybody else who's watching this. So as we get into why the tournament's like so far out that we're announcing, and why we're not even allowing anybody to open in, is because we want you to spend some time fleshing your armies out. If you homebrew rules, you're going to want to play like 5 or 6 games and flesh out how things work. Does the synergy work? Does it not? Because the last thing you want to do is show up to a tournament, just put together everything, and yeah, it's not pleasant from there. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our tournament rules. So we'll put Samsung Dex back down, bring back up the tournament rules. Okay, so the date of our tournament is going to be mid to late June. So a while out. I was thinking about doing it earlier, but my wife politely reminded me that we have our baby due mid-May. So did not want to have to try and run a tournament while also, about to have a baby. The point limit is going to be a 2,000 point. So your army, when you look into Warsurge, let me bring that back up. So your roster for your army cannot be over 2,000 points. So, like this is the knight army everybody's talking about. It was an armiger and a knight. So at no more than 2,000 points. Oh, jeez. I don't want to even touch that. Yeah. Codex, I mean, it makes sense because they've got no crusade rules, really. At least Smurfs. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get back over to the rules. So 2,000 points. The location is to be determined. We're talking to a couple different places. There's definitely going to be a question of whether we do it at a local game store or we rent out a place, especially as the year continues. But we'll send you guys out regular updates on where we're looking at. This tournament will be any type of theme you want. You want to bring a fantasy army. You want to bring a sci-fi army. You want to bring a World War II army. Great. Any theme you want. And the scale just has to be, sane and reasonable. If you try to put, a 500 by 500 by 500 millimeter thing and call it one troop, yeah, that's not going to be all that great. The cost. Now, this is something big. For this first tournament, the cost to enter is completely free. We want to try and get the word out as much about this game as possible and want you guys to be able to come up and enjoy. So there is no entry fee. We will be playing standard versus advanced. As you play more into Warsurge, if you haven't already, you'll know what's going on there. Our tournament style will be Swiss. We'll have 4 rounds. The table size will be your typical 6x4. And we are going to set the time limit to 2 hours per round, which is actually pretty doable in this game. I mean, the game moves really quick because you're going back and forth. We're hoping to host 10 to 16 players. You're only going to be able to put 50% of your army in reserve, 1v1. The min and max, the minimum amount of a roster of units is 3. So like that knight list I showed earlier, that wouldn't be legal for this tournament. You need at least 3. And then the max you can have is 10. Just because this is our first tournament, we kind of want to confine things a little bit to make things easier to handle. And really, I don't think we've played a game with more than like 5 or 6 units for 2,000 points. The max points per unit. Now, Warsurge is great. It does allow you to have these really cool, like, one-man armies. You know, you want to take an Angel of Death and just decimate. For this tournament, though, we are going to limit the max points per unit to 700. So you can only bring a demigod, not a god, to the table. And then the maximum number of models is 100. So for those of you like me who just thought about bringing, you know, like 125 Poxwalkers, yeah, no, unfortunately not. Then we're also going to do a max units of defense of 8 up. So when you build your army, we want this to be a little bit on the fun side. We want everybody to have a good experience. So while Warsurge allows you to bring... yeah, nothing too insane. While Warsurge lets you bring in whatever you want for this tournament, we're going to be limiting the amount of like super heavy duty guys, just to try and keep things fun. And then painting requirements, we are going to require 2 colors and at least the base rim coloring. Just so, especially with where you can do a lot of 3D printing for this, you know, if you want to 3D print your army and bring it on down, great. But so that people can tell what units what and everything else, we are asking for at least 2 colors and a base rim coloring. If you show up and you want us to do your 2 base colors, we will set up with 2 spray cans. We'll spray the front of your guys one color, we'll spray the back of your guys another color, and we'll go from there. You're going to be required to bring your own dice, tape measure, Warsurge app, and pre-approved miniatures to match their approved roster. Talk about that in a little bit. For additional details or to submit your army, please contact us at edward@swordandfortress.com. That being said, let me put out if... yeah, so here is the webpage. Wow. No, that is not the webpage. This is the webpage. Like I said, not feeling the best, so my brain's not working at 100%. So go to our webpage, go to the blog, go to this link. It will have a PDF of these rules available for you. And check that out there. The schedule is to be determined. We're planning on starting early in the morning because we want to play 2 rounds, have some lunch, then 2 more rounds, awards, drawing, prizes. Entry will be first come, first serve, with the waiting list equal to half the allowed participants. So we'll probably have a waiting list of anywhere between 5 and 8 people. Entry will begin on April 1st. All applications must follow the below army submission rules. And one big thing is once your army is submitted, you cannot make any changes to that roster. We will be checking your roster when you arrive. If there's any changes, there's going to be problems, and we'd much rather not have them. So yeah, we're going to be doing Swiss. You can read more into that. There are some perk restrictions we will not be allowing just because this is a tournament, and things like Juggernaut, which allows you to remove terrain when you run over it. Summon and respawn are going to kind of bog it down. Any theme, as we said, any submissions have to be in no later than May the 1st. And you have to include a photo of your army and either label each unit or take photos of each unit as well. And then send the QR code for your roster. So when I say QR code, I'm talking about like right here. Here's my night roster. Share the QR. So you'll send that to us so that we can download your roster and take a look at it. And then you'll receive a response from us within a week, whether or not you've been approved, if you're in the initial tournament, if you're in the wait list, and other such thing. Our game types will be determined at the start of each round by random. We're going to have at least one match of each. We're going to have deathmatch, season control. We've got to get 3 objective markers, and domination and secure ground. You can check those rules out in the Warsurge rules on warsurge.com and look at the competitive play. Details on time limit, tiebreakers, time limits. You guys, you've played in tournaments before, you know what's going on. So we will have some additional stuff outside of the play. We're going to have a artisan award. So everybody who wants to participate can enter their army to be judged for it. You don't have to, but we strongly encourage it. Here are the points and what you'll be judged on. We will also have a sportsman or Mr. or Miss Congeniality Award. So we'll have a chance for everybody to kind of rate how people were. Were they great? Were they not so great? And then, yeah. So we'll have a couple different things going on, not just for the play. Prizes, the thing everybody wants to know about. First place, we will have a $200 cash prize scaled by the number of players. We do that just so that if only 5 or 6 people show up, which we hope doesn't happen, it'll be like 100, 120. Second place will get $100. Third place will get $50. The Artisan Award is to be determined, and the Sportsman Award is to be determined, because we're looking out at some possibilities. We've got the Three Brothers Grimm provided some great STLs to go for rewards. In fact, let me bring some of those up. So we've got one of these. So yeah, we've got the Chief. He's going to be an STL that we're going to be able to put up, print, and have painted. We're going to have the Shinra Leader. He's going to be available for us to print and put out for you guys. We're going to have Tifa from Final Fantasy VII. We're also going to have a render of Samus that's going to be available. So these are some of the cool prizes that Three Brothers Grimm have agreed to help us out with. Also, they might, depending on how printing goes, because we all know how crazy the world is right now, we also might be able to put up a signed copy of their official hardcover rulebook that's going up for Kickstarter soon. So that'll be something cool to look at. And then also, one more last thing. We've also got that model that's going to go up and be available as part of a prize. So yeah, lots of cool stuff coming down to it. We're going to be talking a lot as we get closer and closer about some of the other prizes. We'll probably be doing a door prize raffle with some channel merchandise and some other cool stuff. And then there's an example of how we'll mark down the tournament player rules. So please definitely go to the swordandfortress.com/blog and Warsurge tournament to go over these rules. They'll be available there. As we get closer to the April 1st date, we'll talk more about how you guys can submit for this tournament and any other entry questions. So I know I promised kind of a QA session, but like I said when we first started, I have not been feeling the best, so I will go ahead and curtail it here. We'll have another chance for Q&A later. I hope you guys have a great night, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys' armies. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The reason why we're also doing a no later than May the 1st is because we will also be posting everybody's armies roster for everybody to look at. So before the tournament starts, everybody's going to have a chance to look at everybody's army. Of course, you can't make any changes, but you can at least see what your competitors are about. You guys have a great night. I look forward to seeing you guys at the tournament and talking with you guys as we are on the road to it. Have a great night. Thanks, Oni. I'm going to try, man.